Why did you want to go to Thailand?
I wanted to go basically travelling, and at first I was going to go to China to teach English, but in the end I was having my tonsils removed, so I couldn't go to China and ended up picking Thailand. It fitted my timetable better and when I needed to be back to apply for uni, so and I decided in the end that China was going to be really cold and I was going to get hot weather in Thailand, hang out on the beach and things.
So why did you not want to go straight to uni?
Because my older brother had done a gap year and said it was the best thing he'd ever done. He went to France and travelled the whole year and learnt French, was just travelling around all of France. And my sister also did it, and my twin did Camp America, so he was going away in the summer. So we both took a gap year at the same time. And it just been a thing that my siblings had done before, so I knew I wanted to do it.
So did you go with a company to Thailand, and what did you go and do over there?
Yeah, I went on with a company called Latitude Global Volunteering, so they've got a website, and they basically just help you. You can volunteer anything you want, so you can work on a farm, you can help with the community building, you can teach English, which I did. There's all these different projects that they set up for you. Usually the most popular one is to teach English. It's the easiest qualification you can get. And they basically have places all over the world where they are set up. So I just researched and researched. There were so many places I could choose. There was Africa. There's so many places in Africa I was considering, but Thailand and China just seemed to stand out for me.
So you said that you taught English, sorry. I take it that was in a school.
Yeah, that was in a school, yeah.
So can you explain what a typical day was?
A typical day was waking up at 7 in the morning, and first of all we lived with a house family, so we had a Thai mum out there and a Thai dad and a Thai little son as well. Like, he was so cute. He's called Farah. And then she would make us breakfast, get us ready for school along with her child, and then we'd all get in the car together. Me, my Canadian friend who I went out with, Devon, and Lassa, her son, and we'd go to school. There'd be always morning assembly dead on at 8. You couldn't be late. It was really bad. Teachers out there quite strict about timing, and you have to, you're the teacher and it's quite a high profession out there, so you have to be professional with the kids as well. So we'd always have to try and rush and be there on time. They'd sing their song and raise the flag. It was really nice. It was a really nice little routine. Then people would disappear into their different classes, and me and Devon, the whole day, would be booked with 1 hour classes with different age groups. So the first hour would be 5 to 6-year-olds, then we'd go straight to a class with the 13-year-olds, then have a break, and then straight back on again, and then we'd have lunch. Yeah, it was just like a normal school day, but their hours were really long. The kids didn't get off school till about 6 or 7.
Wow. And
yeah, so it was long days, but it was really good. And me and Devon now and again would have free time on our timetable, but we were supposed to have more free time, but the school obviously wanted to take advantage of the fact that they had foreigners come over. They've never had anyone like that come to their school before. It was quite a deprived school, so we didn't mind because we went over there to volunteer, so we didn't mind making extra hours for them. So yeah.
So it was all volunteering, it wasn't paid?
Well, it wasn't supposed to be paid. It was volunteer, but our school would now and again try and give us money, slip us an envelope. It wasn't much, but to them that was quite a lot. We always wanted to refuse them, but they would be really offended. The principal especially would be really offended, so we were always told to take the envelope. So it would only happen now and again, and we always felt really bad, but we didn't want to offend anyone, so yeah.
So what do you think you got from that experience?
I basically definitely just grew up, because I'd never moved out of home before, and here I was just moving to a whole new country completely by myself. I didn't know anyone I was going out with. There was other volunteers. There was a small group of us, about 6. Didn't know any of them. And I think I just gained, just confidence that I could do something like that. And I knew that you know, I'd be able to make friends out there, and that was fine. But just, you know, doing simple things like hand washing and cooking for myself and working a full-time job, basically, it was literally just as if I'd got a full-time job and was just thrown out there in Thailand. It was crazy.
So was there anything that wasn't as great?
What wasn't as great? I suppose sometimes there were certain classes that me and Devon both equally dreaded, and that was, weirdly enough, I thought I'd like them the most, the 5 to 6 year olds, because they just didn't want to learn. Obviously, they're little kids, and it was so difficult to teach them at that age because they were starting from nothing. So I used to dread those classes so much, and yeah, we'd have to do really crazy things that we were supposed to deal with. Like, we would have to like sort out children who'd thrown up and take them to the toilet if they weren't potty trained, and it was just really, yeah, I didn't really enjoy that part, but everything else was just above and beyond. I just can't recommend it enough.
So did you go travelling afterwards?
Yeah, afterwards we had a month. I could only afford to go travelling after that for a month. But we'd lived in the north of Thailand, which is just green grass and lakes and hills and farms, and so we decided we wanted to go and see the beaches. So at Christmas, we got Christmas time off, Christmas holiday, so we went down at Christmas to the beach. And oh, that's something, don't go to the beach around that time because it's monsoon season, so basically it constantly rained, and a beach when it's raining is really rubbish, obviously. So that Christmas break wasn't good, but for the month, yeah, we went down. We went to Koh Phangan, Phi Phi Island. Yeah, just like we just went island hopping down there. Did the usual tourist island hopping, and Koh Chau, that was amazing. Bangkok, we went back there and had a week there because it is a great, you know, it's a great activity and there's so much going on in there. We went to Koh San Road in Bangkok, which was great. So yeah, we managed to fit in a bit of travelling now and again, yeah.
So, was it quite an expensive thing to do?
Yeah, you'd have to, before you even go to Thailand, you have to pay the company, because it is volunteer work, but they're a charity and they've set up all these companies in these different places, so you have to pay to volunteer, which is quite, it seemed unusual at the time, but after researching it, it seems like most volunteer things abroad expect you to pay up front for you to go to these places. It was 1,200, I think, to be on this place. So it was a 5-month placement. But with that, what I discovered is that you get free accommodation, and whilst you're out there, because the school provide you with that. So that, I know it seems a lot up front, but if you actually think about it, 5 months in Thailand with that money is amazing, because accommodation for that month of travelling was where most of my budget went, and it's really expensive to obviously stay in places, hostels, and keep travelling around. So it is expensive up front, but in the long run, it's a good thing to do. You get free accommodation. So
do you think you could have done it without the company, or do you think you need to
I think you can, but I don't think I personally could have, because I wouldn't have been able to find that school, and it was such an amazing school. It was really remote. They needed the help. I would have been able to go to schools in Bangkok because that's really easy if you have a certificate in teaching English. But when you need to go to schools that really actually need the help, you won't be able to do that on your own. You need to get companies like this. That's why they have volunteers who research this, go to these villages, look for the schools that are deprived. But if you were really on a budget, you could actually just apply to Bangkok and you know, schools that are well known, and get placements quite easily. Yeah.
So, all in all, why should somebody, if they were thinking of taking a gap year, why should they think about going and volunteer in a place like Thailand?
I think they should volunteer because you don't just want to spend the whole time of your gap year just doing, I know it sounds silly, but doing nothing. You do want to actually fill your days, because travelling's amazing, but even that month that we had, you need something productive to fill your days, and if you're going to do that, why don't you just help out the community and the country that you're going to, because it doesn't take much of your time. You get to meet the locals as well. You really get immersed. That's the best thing I thought about my experiences. I wouldn't have had that if I just went to Thailand with my friends. I actually got to meet the community. I made so many Thai friends. I had the teachers who cooked for me now and again in the evenings, which was amazing. So you really become part of the community, and they really love you for doing it. That, like, they appreciate it so much. They're always grateful, which is amazing. So yeah, I'd recommend anyone to do it.